What's going on YouTube? It's Eric here from MajorLeagueTrading.com, and I wanted to give you guys an update from the BYND position from yesterday, and then also a little update here on what the market did today. So we got a question in the room like a week or so ago about knowing when not to trade. So that's something I'm actually going to be doing a little bit more in depth here on an Instagram TV video as well. So if you don't follow me on Instagram, there's going to be a link in the description below. It's just at Major League Trading on Instagram, and I'm going to be posting that video either tonight or tomorrow morning there for how to know when not to trade. There's a small example of that I'm going to touch on today, and then also, again, like I said, touching on the BYND update. So first things first, let's go ahead and get that BYND update. And if you're curious here as to how I did today, in the futures market, I made a whopping $21.60 here trading the Nasdaq. I made a whopping $0 in the S&Ps, a whopping goose eggs in the Russell, and some more goose eggs there in the Dow. And there's a reason for this. We'll talk about that as well here. But so only coming away with $21.60 there in the Russell, or sorry, in the Nasdaq. And the large part of my day came from trading this thing called BYND, which is Beyond Meat here. So we'll go ahead and pull over the options chain for this. I'll show you guys the position I have on now, and then also what I did with the position from yesterday. So if you guys remember from yesterday, let me go ahead and scooch this over. There we go. All right, so if you guys remember from yesterday here, we had this 180-200 call spread on from yesterday. So I was long the 180, short the 200 call spread, and I went ahead and closed that position out this morning. I got fills on that this morning, so I bought that for $1.25. I got fills on that this morning at $10, $11, $9.70, $9.07, and $8.60. So we gapped up right into kind of that $200 number there. I went ahead and had some working orders out there at 10, 11, 12.50, 14, and then 15 bucks, just to go ahead and see if vol would spike and everything would go a little crazy right at the open with this thing gapping up here to the $200 number, and see if I can go ahead and get out of some of those positions. The $10 did fill, the $11 did fill, and then at that point, once BYND started selling off, I'm like, all right, it's time for me to go ahead and get out of this position. So just went ahead and started reworking some of those orders, and like I said, got filled. The lowest I got filled was 860. The highest was 970 on those remaining 3 contracts. I had a total of 5 contracts on. Did that spread 5 times. So BYND ended up being good for a little bit over $4,000 on that trade, using about $625 worth of capital for that trade. So it was a really nice trade, and we did get the move here in BYND. And now I've actually kind of changed it up, and I put a new position on here in BYND. So what I've done now is I stepped in and I sold the 200 calls, bought the 210s. You guys can see that right here. So I stepped in and I sold the 200s. I bought the 210s right there. And then I also stepped in and sold the 200s puts, bought the 190 puts. And again, these are all going to expire in 3 days. Now, I did this trade for $8.70. You can see that right here. This is going to be the Iron Condor, and trade price there of $8.70. So my total risk on this trade is essentially the difference between $8.70 and $10, because it's a $10 wide spread. So my total risk on this trade is $1.30, and I did it twice. So my total risk is 260 bucks here. And basically what that gives me, so $1.30 risk on the trade, we'll call this R, and it's a $10 wide, $10 wide. And so basically what that means now is from $200 plus or minus $8.70 will be my break even. So my break even on the top side is going to be $208.70. My break even on the downside is going to be $191.30. Had to do the math there real quick. So 200 minus 870 ends up being 191.30 there. So anywhere in between 191.30 and 208.70 by expiration, I will be able to potentially pull out a profit in this trade. If not, if we're under, say, 190 or over 210 by expiration, then I will go ahead and lose, this $130 per contract with a 2 lot on that I have for this trade. Now, the question is, why am I willing to do that? I just had a really nice trade in BYND. Why am I putting back on some risk here? Well, number one is I know what the risk is on that trade. It's defined. It's $260 worth of risk on this trade. I'm comfortable with that risk. Now, P&L open right here is $0. So, sorry, P&L open on that particular strike was $0. Had to scroll back up there. P&L open right now, $163. So I'm about almost 2/3 of the way to what my total risk would be on this trade, right? So my total risk is going to be $260 here. I'm fine with that risk, given the fact that if I can pull out anywhere between $2, $3, and maybe $4 from this trade, the risk reward will be in my favor. And what I see coming into this right now is, okay, we've got monthly options expiration coming up here in 3 days, right? So if we take a look at the options chain, we kind of drill this back down, you'll see these are the weekly contracts that are going to expire in next week and the week after that and whatever else. These are the main monthly contracts. So when I like to trade options, I like for a pinning play, which is what this is. This is a pinning play based on the assumption that BYND will close or get somewhere back in and around $200 over the next 3 days. Between Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, it's Tuesday, June 18th here. Between those 3 days that I'll see BYND get back up somewhere around $200 and it can potentially exit this position. Now, there's a couple things here with this. You'll notice that these 200 puts and these 190 puts are in the money. So I do have some exposure of being assigned on that part of this position because they are in the money. But I'm not too concerned about that because, again, it's spread off. So if I have to close, if I get assigned shares, whether I get assigned long or short shares doesn't necessarily matter to me because I'm holding the other side of that trade. So either way here, I'm looking for BYND here to kind of work its way back up towards $200 here on the week. So we'll see if that ends up playing out. The video from last night ended up working out perfectly. BYND jumped up right here to this $200 number for us, and we were able to go ahead and close that position out. Now, the thing I want to touch on real quickly here is the thing that I've gotten in the room, which is knowing when not to trade. And I'm actually going to pull up Twitter real quick here, and I'll show you guys what ended up happening today. So today we had some news that came out here. It was unplanned news. If you look at forexfactory.com, you'll notice what the planned news events are for the day. If somebody's speaking, if there's, FOMC, which is going to be coming up tomorrow, so be aware of that. And essentially what happened here this morning, just prior to this move right here, is that we had a Trump tweet come out and the market went absolutely nuts. And what ended up happening here was toss charts were showing a completely different price from what my dome was trading on stage 5. There's the bell. And when that happens, I'm like, okay, there's something goofy, something funky going on here. And we were looking for a move here up into 76.60 quarter to 76.6450 today, and then potentially get a fade out of this zone here and kind of work our way back down into 76.0875s. So if we could do that, then that was going to be a really nice setup here. Now, we ended up rallying up here, and it happened so quickly. You'll notice this is 938, and this is 940. So in 2 minutes, we basically rallied like 30 points there and just continued to rip to the upside there. When the dome and toss were showing two completely different prices for me and I did not know where I was going to get filled at. I didn't know anything going on there. Then I went ahead and just said, okay, I'm gonna step aside here. I'm gonna let this market do whatever it wants to do, and I'll be patient and wait for my right trade. So, anyways, there's one little tidbit here of knowing when not to trade. Is when you see some type of news announcement come out, or you see some type of crazy action here. And what that actually ended up being was Trump sent out a tweet this morning, basically saying this tweet right here ended up saying, had a very good telephone conversation with whoever this guy is, and we're going to have an extended meeting next week, the G20. And that was at 9:39. Market went absolutely nuts on that news, and we rallied from there. One thing about that is, okay, so we had the news, but the market still went in the direction we were anticipating it going on. So it's not like we were, short this market because the market was down here. We were looking for the market to rally up into here, actually looking at taking some longs right in through here on a break of this downtrend, and it just happened so quickly we were unable to do so. And then by that point, we're like, okay, there's something off here. We're not short in this market, and we just got to kind of step aside here and let it play itself out. So the news actually just drove us to the levels that we were looking to trade, and then ended up continuing to push higher here. So having some rules, we were talking about this in the room today, having some rules of knowing when not to trade is super, super important. And we actually went ahead and mocked up a little trade plan here, and I want to share this with you guys. So we mocked it up for one of the room members here, and basically here's what it looks like. So I'll pull this over. All right, so this is what we did. Now, I went ahead and shared this with everybody that's in the MLT Discord, and I want to give an opportunity to share it with you guys as well. So if you guys want to get this, just email me trade plan to support@majorleaguetrading.com. So if you want this, email trade plan to support@majorleaguetrading.com. Boom. Anyways, if you do that, I'll go ahead and send this sheet over to you guys, and you can work it through there. So what we did is basically the outline here is when I'm not going to trade, right? So that, I think, is the first step in being able to know when you're actually going to trade. So define when. This is a 5-step process, right? Knowing when you're not going to trade is going to give you the times that you are permitted to trade. Next up is going to be to define your trade setups. For me, that's going to be level to level and divergence. Those are the 2 strategies that I use to trade. Next up, now that you know what your strategies are, you have to know how to get into those trades. So for me, I just wrote out a simple little analysis here. I'm looking for a higher low from a divergence signal on prior lows with another divergence in a different market on that higher low. And basically all that's saying is that, the Nasdaq's pulling down, getting new lows, and the Russell's not. And I'm looking to take the Russell long potentially, right? Based on some type of analysis there, or we had a prior signal that we're just rallying up from. Now, once you get into a trade, you need to know how you're going to get out of that trade. That's having your exits and your targets. So when the next level trades, that's an easy one for me, right? If we go from level to level, then I know once we get to the next level, that's time for me to go ahead and get out. And then the final part of this is knowing where your stops or how you're going to be able to get out of the trade if it doesn't go in the direction you want or doesn't quite go as far as you want it to go. So where does my stop go? And then when am I permitted to trail my stop? So I wasn't really planning on sharing this with you guys, but I thought it was really good today in the trade room to kind of go over some of this stuff. People seem to be struggling a little bit when it comes to writing out your plan and knowing exactly what it is that you're going to be doing when you come to the markets each and every day. So surprise myself, surprise you guys, added it to the end of this video. Hope you guys enjoy. Again, if you want this, just go ahead and email the word trade plan to support@majorleaguetrading.com, and I'll send this over to you guys. As always, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up on this video. If you are new around here, click that subscribe button and turn on the little bell notification, because I go live each and every morning at 9 o'clock, sharing you my thoughts and analysis on this market and what I'm going to be looking to do for each and every day. If you have ideas for future videos, comments, suggestions, questions, go ahead, leave those in the comment section below. As always, make sure you're following me on the old Instagram at Major League Trading. Like I said, I'm going to drop another video on there for you guys on when not to trade. So all of that, and I'm out. I'm headed to the gym. I will see you guys tomorrow morning. Take care, and I hope it helps.